Welcome to Santa's MLS Tech Workshops, where we'll be going over ways on how to better your business. In this tutorial, Katie Gleboff will be going over the resources available to users when creating a presentation report using the different maps features.
Tools, and we're going to look at the mapping tools a couple of times through our presentation today. So I'm going to jump into the map right away. And all I did, if I shrink the map again, you have, when you look at the summary of a property, you have the map on the right hand side. It's right at the top of that property summary. And we have a link right here on the lower right hand side that says bigger map. That expands that map view, and it just throws all of the property information down below it. So you don't lose that data, it's just underneath it. And I'm going to try to centralize my screen here, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, because when you zoom out, you start to get a kind of like a parcel view of what's going on in the market area. So I can see all of the boundaries for neighboring properties. I'm going to see here overlaid in the map. We have a couple of different map layers. I prefer, as a user, the road view. That's going to put some landmarks into the map so I can see where we have public bus stations. You can see where there's high points of interest. So if there's, an art center nearby or a university nearby, if you're zoomed out far enough, you're going to see that information within the map. You can kind of see where those landmarks are within the map view. This is the road view. On the upper right hand side, you do have that gray washed out view. You have that road view. And then if you're zoomed in enough, you have that aerial and you have that overhead view. I like to get my view where I can kind of see what's going on with the inventory around my property. And I'm looking for certain triggers to appear on the map, if you will. And to the bottom, you do get that legend. So I'm looking for lots of nice, pretty green icons. And those nice, pretty green icons are indicating to me that properties within the view have recently sold, right? So I could come in, I can click on that. It's interactive. I can get that summary of property information. This is going to tell me that a property leased, so I can get leasing information on my map as well. I can also come in here and see properties that are actively listed. I can, in this summary here, see if that's actually a competing property or not. That's a little bit higher list price than the RVM value for my property right here. So you can see what's going on inventory wise. You'll see if there's any properties that are pended, any properties that are in financial distress are going to appear red. And that just helps me get insight into what's going on with that local inventory. And then I like to come down to the lower right hand side of my map, and you're going to see our heat maps. And heat maps will allow you to overlay heating and cooling color schemes on the map to see what's going on with market data. So I like to come in here if you want to see that 12-month change in estimated property value. It looks like my screen just froze on me, so bear with me for a second. I'm going to do a real quick refresh. Hopefully we're not having internet issues over my house, although I haven't had any issues today, so let's see what happens.
Michael, while Katie is getting squared away, which I'm sure she'll be squared away fairly soon, I definitely want to open up
There we go.
the chat and remind everyone to plug their questions into the chat, and happy to answer them.
I got a quick one while we're getting together. Where does the public records data come from?
The public record data comes from our public record supplier, which is Black Knight, one of the two major providers of public record data. And we get that updated. We get records in every day. And if you ever have any questions about that, you can find that information on your MLS dashboard, Michael. That dashboard that I'm referencing is just for Michael's use, but he can look and see when we have that data come in on a daily basis. And generally, I think one of the public record features that will mostly impact your subscribers, in addition to getting the basic info on those properties, but is the distress data and sold data, because we have all the sold data. So if there are any properties that are sold outside of the MLS, and your subscribers want to use that data in their CMAs, they'll be able to, because those will show up
I,
generally about
I,
6 weeks after closing, unlike anything that closes within the MLS that's going to show up sooner.
excellent, excellent. I was kind of leading the witness to point out here that you have the best of both worlds as a subscriber to High Central MLS. You have Black Knight public record data via RPR, your subscription to RPR, and then you have the CoreLogic and the massage. We do a lot of work with CoreLogic to make sure the public records data that we're putting into Realist is up to date and massaged and corrected and da 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 da. But you have the best of both worlds as a realtor. You get to see both of those things and put those in front of your clients.
And the same thing here too, Michael. We have a dedicated, as you can imagine, a dedicated data team. And we do the same thing. We have a point person within the data team that's been working with Black Knight for the past couple of years to really bring those records up and above and beyond. And not only has it helped RPR, but because of our efforts, pretty much anyone that receives their public record data from Black Knight has been a beneficiary of our massaging of that data. So your subscribers can rest assured they're in great hands between RPR and High Central. So I'll stop talking now and turn it back over to Katie.
I think I almost sprained my arm patting ourselves on the back. This looks good. Take it away, Katie. Sorry.
All right. Sorry about that. But this is one of our heat maps, and this is going to show you that fluctuation of values where you could see that 12-month change in estimated value. So that's going to give you your year over year. So it's going to take a look at how those property values fluctuated here. We're probably looking at October of 2019, year over year, looking at that property value to October of 2020. You can take a look at price per square foot with property value. We do have concentration of distressed properties. So you're going to see that this is your probably your estimated value price per square foot. You can look at concentration of distressed properties so you can see where those trends are on the island. We have average sales price, average list price. One that I love to take a look at for that listing presentation is that pending sale concentration. So you can kind of calm those fears of that homeowner and say, hey, you're in an area you're in a medium pending sale concentration. So you can validate that properties are moving. You have your list price versus sales price. So this one is going to show these little pockets of blue. These little pockets of blue are where you have properties selling. The deeper the blue, the higher increment of sales price over list price. And then, of course, where those pockets are of pink, you have properties that are selling below list price and at what increment below list price, depending on the color scale. And then if you're looking at an area that almost looks like it's a white overlay or a clear, opaque kind of color, properties are selling at list price at point of sale. So you can talk about that. You have density. I'm sure if flood zones is a concern, you can always talk about that flood zone map as well. So looking at those neighborhood statistics through the heat map is a great tool for your client. I'm going to shrink this. And then I want to talk about some other statistics that we have, which is how this home compares to local homes in the market. And that's going to be found under our charts layer. And when it comes to the charts and the graphs and some of the other data sources that we pull in outside of our data provider, RPR is very transparent with our information. So anytime you're looking at the charts, you're going to see these little links that say about this data. So we have median estimated home value versus your median list price. We have sales price versus sales volume. So even if you're a newer agent and you're not really sure what these graphs are telling you, you know, your sales price is always going to be driven by the volume, and the pricing lags the volume actually, because volume is the driver between, or the driver to those pricing movements. So these little charts are going to kind of explain that under this link that says about this data. And then we're telling you where we're sourcing that information. So we're actually looking at both public record sales and MLS sales. So again, you're getting that layering of information, and we're updating these graphs on a monthly basis. So we're looking at these trended in a monthly period. And what I like about these is you can come in and look at, hey, well, what's going on just with sales price versus sales volume when it comes to properties that sell through the MLS. You can look at properties that sell through the MLS and public record, and you can also compare those trends to public record. So if you wanted to compare how volume is driving pricing movements, this oftentimes could be a good discussion on why it's better to list with a realtor when you have issues with volume, because a lot of the times we're going to indicate a higher sales price when that property sells through that MLS. So you can use that public record to MLS comparison. Again, you have list price versus list volume, and then you just get that snapshot of what's going on with the inventory and how this house compares to the other properties in the market. So you get that quick snapshot. There's 129 active single family homes listed in the zip code. They're not all comparable properties. It's just total inventory. And then you get the trend with the condos and the multifamilies as well. And then you can see, hey, this is the median sales price per by square footage. Here's our property, and here's a snapshot of what's going on with comparable properties as well. Price per square foot, our home, what's going on with the inventory for comparable properties around our subject properties, price per square foot, same thing, price per bedroom, price range, age range. So you can see what that local competition is out of the influx of all the inventory on the marketplace. So you do have the ability to come in and really get a good idea what's going on trending wise, statistic wise with those heat maps. And then you can see how this property lines up to other homes in the market. So that's one way that you could do a lot of that property research, getting an idea of what's going on with those local market conditions.